Hello everyone, it's Amy, and I am back for week 23 of Build Your Stash and Craft. This week we are going to make glitter glue, and so we are going to need containers to put it in, Mod Podge for our glue, and fine glitter. Now that is the one thing that you do want to use. Excuse the crinkling, I should have done this beforehand. You're going to want to use a fine glitter for your glitter glue. You actually could use a chunkier glitter because this is going to be a glue that you can put on with a spatula or a paintbrush, so you're not trying to squeeze it through a little hole. But the fine glitter, to me, the fine glitter, I just like the looks of it. It just kind of, it blends in better. It's better coverage. With chunky glue, I like to just put some, or with chunky glitter, I like to just like put down some glue, dump the glitter on it, and I can't get that one open. So it's really by your choice. Do whichever that you think you would like to do. And but I here today am using the fine glitter. So this is easy enough done, but we'll do some and chit chat here a little bit, and then we'll come back and we will do some things with this and discuss the differences between the glitter glue and the glimmer glue, because there is a difference in the way that you use them. But to make our glitter glue, what we're going to do is we'll take one of our containers and we're going to fill it probably a quarter of the way with our Mod Podge. And it's going to be, yeah, see, I can't really tip it, but we're coming right to here. Just a little bit. It doesn't even have to be a quarter of the way. What I do is I put a little bit of Mod Podge on the bottom, enough so that it covers the bottom, and then I dump my glitter in. And then I put a little bit more of the Mod Podge on top. Now these packages are just glued in, so carefully just pull it off of there. And I use the whole, these little packages, I use the whole package of glitter, which is probably about, it's probably about a teaspoon of glitter. If you dump it from the short side, it won't stick to the stickum that's on the tall side. Or fold that stickum down, but then it'll get caught in the flap. So, and this is a messy process. Once you get it all done, you can clean it up, and then once the glitter is in the glue, you won't have that messiness problem again. That's the one thing I do like about glitter glue versus putting glitter onto my page, is that once you do this part and make this mess, then you don't have as much of a mess when you want to put glitter on something like a card or something like that. So what I do after I put Mod Podge, then I put glitter, and then I put another layer of Mod Podge, so that my container is about 3/4 full. Mod Podge, glitter, Mod Podge, but still enough room so that you have room to mix it up. And these do take a while to mix. The glitter is dry, the glue is wet, and they don't really like each other for a while. But you just get them mixed up really well. And the reason that I put the glue on the bottom instead of putting the glitter on the bottom is because it's easier to mix it if you've got that glue that you can grab and pick up through the glitter instead of having the dry glitter on the bottom. It's really hard getting that dry glitter pulled into the glue. And the reason that I put the glue on top of the glitter is so that when you are stirring and mixing, you've got that layer of glue on top of the glitter, so when you're first starting, it doesn't go flying everywhere. The glitter doesn't go flying everywhere. So that's just my formula for the way that I like to do it in order to make it mix. And you can do it, just dump some in and dump some in, but I just wanted to share that with you. I find it easier, and I find that it mixes better. And like I said, take your time, mix it well, and don't forget to mix it when you use it after it has sat for a while. But it does stay pretty well suspended. But you will have the glitter that I'm going to just set that aside, and we will do this one. You will have glitter that settles, so you do want to make sure that you mix it up right before you use it so you get the most out of your product. Okay, I got a little bit too much extra glue in here on the top, so it's going to be hard to mix. Now, if you want to fill this all the way with glue, that's fine, but get it all mixed first and then put your last bit of glue in and mix it so that you have a lot less mixing to do with that being so close to the top. And the difference with this is, and we'll see it when we try it, the glitter glue dries, the glue dries clear, and you see the bits of glitter. The glimmer glue is almost like a glimmery paint, even though it's just glue with the glimmer in it. It's very translucent, but the whole thing glimmers. Whereas the glitter glue, it glitters where the glitter is, and then you can see what's behind it. You can with the glimmer glue too, but it's just a different, maybe we'll even do a comparison. It's just a different look. And I even use them for, the glitter is more just sparkly and in your face, and the glimmer is just more subtle and just there in the background and looks really pretty. So I am going to just go ahead and I'm going to mix up some red and some pink, some dark purple, some maybe green and yellow. I'm going to mix up the rest of these, and then I'll be back and we'll see the different things that we can do to play with these. Okay, I have them all mixed, but I thought I would come back and show you really quickly. I have a lot of glitter here that when I was dumping into my little pots, a little bit of the glitter came off of the packets. And so I just kind of wanted to show you what I'm going to try to clean that up. I'm going to try just taking some of my stick glue and putting it on a piece of, this is just a piece of scrap that I had in my box. And I'm just going to put the glue all over that. And I'm using the stick glue because it's a little bit more of a dry glue so that it doesn't actually grab my background paper. And I'm just going to see if I can just kind of pick that up with my glue and see what my paper looks like. Instead of just throwing it in the garbage. And there we go. Just that would be a cute little piece of paper to use in the background. I'm not exactly sure how well the stick glue is going to hold the glitter, but I can always go in and put a little bit of Mod Podge. I used almost all of my Mod Podge. I can't really tell how much is left because it hasn't settled yet, but there's probably just a little bit in the bottom. But the one little jug of Mod Podge did make all 8 containers. And that's 3/4 of the way full. It would not make all 8 containers. Well, it could possibly. I'm not sure. I like to leave them down a little bit. And the other thing that I wanted to show you was just how far this goes. Don't make too much. I always used to get tempted to make, I'll make a bigger pot, or, I'll use twice as much. You can always make more later. So, because this goes a long ways, I was going to show you as I was cleaning off my sticks, and I did use each stick for 2 colors. I used my light green and then dark, light blue and then dark. So I don't have, there's only 4 colors here, but all I did was I took my brush and I just pulled it off of there, and I just wanted to show you how much just this little bit that was left on your stir stick, and I'm actually doing this very possibly thicker than I would even put it on a project. And there we go. But I wanted to show you that little bit that was on the stir stick. And I don't know how well that's showing up, but it covered that much of the paper. So this is just one of the pieces that I did last week. And so I just kind of splattered it all over the place, or, rubbed it. And so I'll be able to use that for something in the future. So I wanted to show you that really quickly, to show you how far this goes so that you don't make a whole ton and have it dry out on you. That's the biggest thing. When you're making your own product, you never know how well they're going to last as far as before they dry out. The other thing that I do is I take my permanent marker, and on the top I just write the date that I made them. And the reason that I do that is so that later on, if I go back in a month and it's still good, I'll know, well, it lasts a month. If I go back in 6 months and it's still good, I will know, well, it lasted 6 months. And you're looking at this date thinking that's not the date, but I try and stay a couple weeks ahead on my videos just so that I always have a video to put up for you on Tuesdays in case I get busy or something's going on and I can't get to one. I always try and get them done up ahead of time. So I would put that on there just so that you know, so that if you do it again, you'll know how long it's going to last. If it's only going to last a couple months, then you might only want to make a half a pot with half your glitter and then go back in a couple months and make another half a pot to make it last longer. So, alrighty, I'll be back and we'll do some sampling. Okay, I'm back and I have all of them done, and I made a little card to show you what they look like. And also I like to have these little sample cards like in my box so that I know what the colors are going to look like, because sometimes, you know, you look at this color and this is going to wind up looking like this red right here. So, you know, they don't look alike. So I like to have a sample card. And the other thing that you can do with your sample cards is you can number them. And grab a regular pen here. And so you could go, like right now I have them all in the same order as my paper. But, you know, they could get mixed up or whatever. So you can just go in and just put numbers on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then just use your permanent marker on the plastic and just go in and put the number on there. So this one is number 1. 2, 3, and had I thought of this before I put the dates, I would have put the dates up higher, but it still works. 4, 5, and 6. And so now if they get mixed up, even if they get put in a different box, I will number the others. I think I will number these 7 through 12. And I won't do the jars right now, but I'm going to write that on here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so, I was thinking that we had, we do. We only have 8 colors, 8 jars. I'll tell you about the other 4 in a minute. So that way, if they get mixed up, it doesn't matter. You know, I want this color when you're looking to make something. Then you can just look through and find the jar that says 3 on top, and you will know that you have the right color. Now, there's the first 6, and then we have 7 and 10 are the others that we did. Now, this is going to be hard to see, and there is barely any difference anyways, but I did want to show you because when I sampled them to see how they worked and how they were lasting and everything, I used a jar of matte Mod Podge because I had bought a matte and a shiny. So the 8 and 11 are the matte. And they pretty much, because your glitter is so sparkly, they pretty much sparkle exactly the same way. They might be just a touch more toned down, but not much. So that's just to show you that you could use the matte or the shine or what, glossy, matte or glossy, and they're going to look pretty much the same. And then I did also, because we had 8 of the, when we did the shimmers, I had 6 shimmer paints and 2 shimmer glues. I put my 2 shimmer glues in here, and then I put my other 6 in my third little container like this. And so that's where those 2 are coming from. But I did want to show you, you know, the difference between, this is kind of a goldy green, but you know, so see the sparkle that you get from the glitter, and then you've got the sparkle or the shine that you get from the glimmer glue. So this is your glitter glue and your glimmer glue, and those are your differences. This is the Snow White. So see, that just kind of puts a sheen on it, where this really puts a sparkle on it. So I wanted to show you the comparisons on those, and then let's just play a little bit. So, you know, things that we can do with this is we can just use it literally as a paint. Let's take the pink here and get that open. And I am going to stir it up just a little bit, even though it hasn't been that long since I stirred it, but and then I'll just take my paintbrush. Let's see, I don't want a huge one. Let's go for this medium size one. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it off of my stir stick so that I don't waste that. And then just go in and paint it on. Now you can move it around so that you have just a little bit of sparkle. Also, when you use the glossy Mod Podge, you're going to have the sparkle where the glitter is. But if you want it to be a little bit thinned out glitter, you know, you don't want to just solid on there, the glossy Mod Podge is going to be glossy when it dries, so you'll have the sparkle and the gloss, so it will look nice together. But I had tried the matte Mod Podge because I wasn't sure if it would tone the glitter down, but it really doesn't seem to. So, but if you did something here where I'm trying to spread this out just a little bit, the matte would be, if you use the matte Mod Podge 5 times fast. If you were to use the matte, it would be matte behind your glitter. But there we go. This is what our little heart looks like, so you can just use it to paint. Now you could even get more and put it on there. I mean, I even still have more on my brush here that I can just kind of tap off and put on. But you can make it very solid, or you can make it very sparse. Well, that's not very sparse, but I kind of like it like that. So, and that was actually just what I used to clean off my stir stick. So when we were talking about how far this goes, it really does go far. And then you can also use it, let me just rinse my brush off here. Grab a napkin. Okay. All right, so then you can also use it as edging. I made a little, I ripped out 3 circles here from last week's paper, and I just ripped them out, and then I just crumpled them up, 3 different sizes. And then I'm going to try the red and just go around the edges. Flowers look really pretty, and sometimes I like to do it when they're separated. To me, it's a little bit easier, but you can still, if you've got your flowers all put together, just go in and just touch the edges with a little bit of this glitter glue, and it just gives them that little extra something. So let's use this, set it down here, and then just take it and just kind of touch the edges in spots. You can make it very solid. You know, like make sure that you hit it all the way around. You can make it where you just kind of go in and just touch it here and there. You can put more, you know, like deeper in one spot and just barely on the edge in another. Because flowers are not like totally, they're not totally symmetrical. They're not exact. Nature is never exact. So you don't want to make it like just totally perfect. Just have a little bit where some spots are. There we go. And now that right now doesn't look super shiny because it's still got the, it still has the Mod Podge being wet, but as soon as that Mod Podge dries, it is going to be as sparkly as that. And you could use it just to touch the edges like this. You could also use it to go in and paint the whole thing red. and have a really sparkly flower. But I do just like to kind of give you a few ideas of what to do with it. You can use it on a journal page, here and there where you think you just need a little bit of shine. I'm going to go in and just barely, I'll put this up here, just barely touch that, because I really don't hardly need any to do this little one. And it does go far. I put a little too much there, so I just went back in and picked it up, and it came up really nicely. And there we go. Now we've got a flower with some really pretty red glitter around the edges, except where I just took it off by sticking my finger in it. I'm doing a good job here. There we go. I'm going to do this. This is tack. There we go. I had my paintbrush in my mouth. Sorry about that. My mother always told me don't talk with your mouth full. Okay. That made it easier because this is so small that putting that little tack in there makes it easier for me to hold on to it. Oh, totally off screen. Sorry about that. Okay. And actually I picked out that tack to use as the center for this flower, and I'm going to put this flower on my tack board. I already put the holes in the center. So I'm just going to put those together like that. And there we go. And that's really pretty. And when that glue dries, it will be even more sparkly. And by putting it on the tack like that, I'm going to stick it right on my tack board right now, and it will give it a place to dry where I don't have to hold on to it. There we go. Just put it up there a little bit. And then you can also use it. You can use your glitter glue for stenciling. And so we'll just put some stenciling on here. And I could use this. This is just a piece of my cardstock, but it's about the size of an index card. So I could use it as an iCAD, an index card. When I'm done with this, after showing you the sample, I can still use it to make something. Let's do a dark color. Let's do the blue. Okay. And I do want to make sure that you wipe your stir sticks and your paintbrushes and everything before you go from one to another, so that you don't contaminate with them with another color. Also, remember that this is glue, so you definitely want to get your paintbrushes in the water when you're done with them so that you don't forget. So this is just, this is actually the backing off of the glitter. And so I just punched holes in it so that it looked like punchinella. I made a quick one the other day, but I wanted one that was really good to keep, so I just made another one this morning. I thought that was the perfect size piece of card to play with. I guess I should stir this. Yeah, it's not going to do much different because it's just been stirred. And like I said, I'm not exactly sure. When I opened up the others with the Matte Mod Podge, they were still pretty mixed, and I did those like a week ago. So they do stay mixed really well. If you're doing a stencil and you're using a brush especially, you're going to want to make sure that you hold that stencil down nice and tight and in the same place so that it doesn't move. A brush will brush things underneath your stencil. So you want to be careful about doing that. So, and you can just kind of brush it, you can kind of pat it, you can put it on there however you want to. I just saw Wendy Mason the other day was doing paint with her finger. I wonder how that would work with this. And that was pretty cool. I've never used my finger to do stencils before. I use it to paint with all the time, but never stencils. So there we go. Now we've got that on there. Peel it off. Oh, I did, where I'd used my finger, I did smear it underneath, but the rest looks really nice. So just remember, hold it down tight. So those are a lot of the things that you can do with this, and I'll be back in just a minute to show you a card real quick. Okay, quick card. All right, I took one piece of cardstock. This was one that I did last week, and it was one full piece of cardstock. I folded it in half, 8 1/2 this way, and 5 1/2 this way, and then I cut it in half. So I have 2 pieces. Then I just folded this in half to make it into a nice little card. Folded the other one in half to make it into a nice little card. Then decide which one you want to be your actual card front. I'm going to keep this one for my card front, and then I'm going to take this one, and with the fold, with the mountain up like this, I'm going to open it up, and I am going to fold this edge into the center, and then I'm going to turn it around and fold this edge into the center. So now it looks like this, and basically that was just a regular card, and then you just folded the sides in right to the fold. Okay, now what we're going to do, and you can do anything you want here, you can do circles, ovals, triangles. You're going to want to stay within this area, the 2 outside flaps. You don't want to make any cuts into. You want to make sure that those 2 folds stay there. And I'm going to just, to make it easier, I'll cut a quick heart. But you can do any shape that you want. Or multiple shapes. You can do this a lot of different ways. So there we go. And now that half looks like that. So take your regular card and open it up. Take the piece that you just cut, and because those were both just regular cards to start with, you've got your center fold, and you're just going to line those up, and you're only going to glue this flap that we couldn't cut. Now, just to make it fast, which this probably isn't going to be fast because I think my stick glue's about gone. Okay, I just want to make sure that I've just got my paper lined up. Those papers are exactly the same size, so just putting them on top of each other, they're lined up. And then you're just going to glue this flap down. Just like that. Okay, now, one thing that I kind of forgot to do, which I really should have done first, but it doesn't make that much of a difference, is I want to put this right here where I just cut it out from, and hold it down. Get that card out of my way. I'm just going to fold it in half and glue this down, holding it right there so that it shows right through where we cut it out of. And then just glue the other side down. And there we go. And now you can do all sorts of things. Whoops. I was going to take a little bit of my purple glitter and just kind of go around the outside edge of this one. Or why don't we just put it all over the whole thing lightly instead of real super solid, so that we'll have that little sparkle peeking through when the card opens up. And of course you can do this taking a little bit more time, getting it exactly how you want it. Now this is glue, so I'm going to have to be careful, because this is going to, normally you would want to do this part and let it dry, because the Mod Podge is glue, so it's going to want to glue together. All right, and then what I'm going to do is this flap that's over on this edge over here, the one that we didn't cut. I'm going to put glue on that too. And normally I would do this with a wetter glue. I wouldn't necessarily use card or stick glue to glue together a card. But it depends on just how well it seems to hold. All right. Now we're just gonna, lie this right flat on top of the other one and glue that flap over to that side. Then we're going to close our card. The center's going to want to come up like a mountain. Close our card like this. So this is our card, and I'm trying to do this quickly so that I don't glue together. That heart should have dried first. Okay, when you open up your card, then this is what you have. And it looks very sloppy, but I'll touch that up somehow. But that's what you have. So this is what your card looks like. They stand up really nicely, and when people look at them, they see what's behind there. Now you can decorate that whole back. I would put some more things on there before you glued the front on, but I think that those are just really cute cards, just kind of a little bit of a peekaboo, a little bit of a pop-up. It's just got a little bit of everything. And, you know, with it being, you know, you open it up, it looks like a regular card, and then, you know, you've got a little surprise on the inside. So that's a cute little card that you could make, and you could use your glitter to do all sorts of things. Another way to use your shaving cream paper. And so that's what we have for this week. You can use your glitter glue to make flowers. You can use it to paint with. You can use it in your mixed media. You can use it through stencils. And then we have all of these different colors in some kind of a little box that keeps them together. And you know, to me too, I know it's like, oh yes, those are in a green box. It makes it easier for me to find things. So now we have those all set to put away, and I'll show you what we need for next week. Okay, so to show you really quickly what we're going to need for next week we are going to make decorative brads to use in our projects. And this is a pack of 200 1/2-inch, and that at Walmart they call them brass paper fasteners. They are in the office supply section. They have the 1/2-inch ones. They also have like a 1 1/2 or a 2-inch one. You don't want to get those because the tail on those is so long that, like, if you were to put them like I did with the tack in the middle of a flower, and then when you bend them over, sometimes those tails could stick out past the edge of your project, and you would have to try and cut them off or something. Very rarely would you ever have anything so thick that a 1/2 inch wouldn't go through it. So for starters, you definitely want to start with the 200 1/2-inch brass paper fasteners from Walmart. They were $1.88. And then a nail polish. I got this 2-pack at the Dollar Tree for $1. So if you can find a 2-pack in colors that you like, go ahead and get one of those, or otherwise just pick up one more color. And then we have all the other colors that we've bought so far. So we will need $1 for our nail polish, $2 for our fasteners, for a total of $3. That will save us $2 this week. We had $8 in our bank, and so that leaves us now with a new balance of $10 in our bank. I do believe that the next big item that we are going to purchase is going to be a paper trimmer, because that seemed to be the consensus of most, that that's what they thought would be best next. The heat guns are really good, but really you mostly only use them for embossing and for bubbling paint. You know, if you want to put acrylic paint on a project real thick and then heat it with the heat gun, it's hot enough to make it bubble. But if you're going to use it for embossing, then you also have to have an embossing pad. You know, like a VersaFine or something, and you'll need embossing powder, and you'll need a stamp. So to get the heat gun first, then we would also have to save to buy all of those other things to go with it. So I think we'll go with the paper trimmer and use it for all the different things that we can use it for, and then we'll start saving for the heat gun. They are nice, but I guess I am in agreement that the paper trimmer would be the way to go. So again, next week, brass paper fasteners and nail polish, and we'll be making them in different ways, but one of the ways we will be making them is with our nail polish. I hope that you enjoyed watching me make the glitter glue today, and I hope that you try it. It's really fun to make, and it's fun to play with. So, and these little containers do work nice, or like I said, you know, the sandwich containers that lock like this, that would fit all of them all in one. So I really appreciate you all stopping by. Thank you very much for all of your support. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.